before you can effectively evaluate the disadvantages, advantages of any of the window materials that are out there, I think the homeowner has to look at two things. The one that is the application. And when I say application, where are you as far as a climate zone, and what's the exposure of the window going to be?
Right.
Also, what is it that you're trying to, as far as what the budget is for replacing those windows? And then also the size of them. I mean, different materials will behave differently. If you've got a large window, you want something that's structurally sound, or a smaller window. And then the second one is, and most homeowners make this mistake when they decide to replace their windows, they need to be specific on what's the end result going to be. What are they trying to achieve? Is it the improvement of energy efficiency? Then how do they define improvement in energy efficiency? Is it how they feel? Is it the utility bills that they get at the end of the month? Are they trying to improve the value of the home, or are they just turning the home because they're getting ready to sell it? Do they want to improve the curb appeal, so the look of the home? So to specifically define what is the end result they're trying to achieve. And once they define that, then they can determine what the disadvantages, advantages are for the different materials that are out there. Does that sound right?
It sounds exactly right. Because some of the major probably products, different materials you see in the market right now are clad windows, which is usually aluminum clad wood interior. You have a fiberglass, you have PVC, and then you have aluminum. And those are your what, big four?
Yeah.
Am I missing any?
No.
And again, like you said, depending on what area of the country you are, like for example, in this area of the country, you're not going to see aluminum windows unless it's commercial buildings. And if you
Right. With aluminum, aluminum is more popular for a commercial application versus residential. And the reason for that is because there's such a conductor of energy, of cold and heat.
yeah, there's no thermal break in aluminum.
Correct.
So that your outside weather is going to mimic the inside weather. It's transfers with no thermal break. You see those further in the south where you don't have the drastic temperature
Right.
changes. They're going to last a long time. They're aluminum, but you don't have the drastic changes of the season. In this area of the country, you're going to get, your aluminum clad windows, your PVC or your vinyl windows, and your fiberglass windows. And those are the products we see. And again, that all goes back to what you were talking about. What is the outcome? What exactly are you looking for? What is in your
Right.
budget?
And I think maybe the key word in that is value. What brings the best
Yes.
value to the home, and to the homeowner. And I think what's been, and I'm slightly biased in this, but I think when it comes to vinyl windows, when vinyl windows first came out in the 70s and 80s, the technology wasn't quite there yet, but they were infringing upon a market that was dominated by the big wood window company. And so wood window companies took advantage of the fledgling little vinyl companies that were just starting to erupt. And so they gave the negative stigma to vinyl as being cheap, big and bulky and ugly, poor performing. And so I think we're seeing a rejuvenation of that against vinyl window market by the fiberglass market. And so fiberglass is there's not very many manufacturers that are out there. The availability is somewhat limited. They have a small competitive pool, but they are targeting vinyl as being inexpensive, poor quality, weak, and things of that nature. But I think when you look at the advancements in technology with PVC windows, I think are bringing the best value to a homeowner replacing windows.
And what I see is not only does it bring the best value, but actually when you line the windows up and compare them, energy efficiency, quality, structural stability, across the board, they're superior on almost every level.
Correct.
And when it comes down to it, it's all products are probably good products, but some of them have more. You have to maintain. If your windows are going to last a long time, you have to maintain them. Mm-hmm. That was the old wood windows. That you've got to clean your windows, but you also have to. Same with every window. You have to look at your caulking, watch your caulking, make sure you don't see any cracks. But you really have to maintain and watch a wood product in this area of the country. Mm-hmm. It's not a matter of if they will fail; it's when they will fail.
Yep.
You have aluminum cladding that's glued to a wood window. At some point in time, with Mother Nature, with expansion and contraction of wood, high humidity summers
Right.
and cool, dry winters, that expansion is going to separate, your adhesion from the aluminum clad, which is on the outside of the window, and that's where we see failure on a clad window in this area of the country. It could be in 5 years, it could be in 10 years, it could be in 20 years.
Right.
If you're maintaining and watching and taking care of your windows on the outside, you're going through, you're watching, you're looking for separation. You're doing a lot more caulking of those to make sure that the aluminum clad isn't separating. Fiberglass, and you'll have to help me here. what I've understand is that it's still pretty. You still have to maintain the fiberglass on the
There is some
outside.
maintenance to it, but I mean, the big presentation or the benefit that's perceived with fiberglass windows is strength. And let's not forget that as a material, fiberglass is very strong, but when you consider the whole window unit, that's getting installed into your home and you're fastening it to the foundation of your home, the framing of the home. So it's not free, it's not standing there just free. But also with the fiberglass window and with the wood window and with the aluminum window, you can't weld those. So there are non-welded corners, so they're mechanically fastened, or sometimes they're using a chemical adhesive for those corners.
Correct.
And that could contribute to the water infiltration that you talked about earlier and the air infiltration. So that could be a problem as well.
That's right. They are finger jointed, and when your house moves and settles and moves back and forth, those finger joints, they do
Sure.
get weak. They're weak points in the structural stability of a window.
So when we talked about value earlier, I think that PVC windows or vinyl windows, they are across the scale to where no matter what the perceived or the established value to the homeowner that's necessary, they can meet those.
Yes, 100%.